retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. For your love with a cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Feet in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab and then take it. Like a disease, bring them to their knees. Take for their disease. Just like a wind, spread into the streets. Time to make them bleed. 'Cause we just want retribution. Let's go light up the darkness. Make true of an empty promise. Flip cards in the weekend, harmless. Take to the streets and turn them to a mosh pit. 'Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution.
I can't help but headbang every single time, every time.
And it's a good 3 minutes of music.
Mm-hmm. What's good, PA? Happy Thursday, brother.
You know, it is Thursday. It's another hot day. We're looking forward to some rain tomorrow. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, man. It's been, over 100 every day this week?
It's been over 80 inside every day, so I would agree.
Heck yeah. Man, what a great week, man. This last week went to Steele, Alabama for the first time. That was super, super awesome. Alabama International Dragway. Went to go meet up and see Jeffrey and TJ's show. Night of Fire. That was really good, man. Lots of spectators, lots of cars. It was cool. It was good. And that track was prepped really well. Jason Collins and his crew did a hell of a job prepping that track, man. It was fast. Those boys were laying it down. Got Sullivan out there running 56. Is that what he ran? Was that a 56?
That would be proof to how well the track was prepped if Sullivan can go that fast. I didn't say that. I would say that. But
it wasn't Sullivan. It was definitely the track. You hear that, landlord? Oh, my Lord. No, Hank Stubbs laying it down too, brother. He got one of his best ETs ever. all around, just a really, really great weekend. It was fun to be there. Got to take Emmett with me and decided last minute to fly down there, rent a Hellcat, and do burnouts and some drifting on the way to the hotel. Emmett loves that stuff. So it was a good weekend. It was a really good weekend. Ran into a lot of cool people. Jason Collins, actually, never met him in person. He's a really cool guy.
Yeah. We met him down in we met him real brief. I mean, it was while he was in the staging lane, but it was down at Lights Out.
Is that who did Dave introduce us to him?
Dave introduced us. He was
okay.
It was a real quick meeting because he was getting ready to race, and I feel like Dave had us going every which direction, meeting a lot of different people. So, but no, we got to meet him for a brief second.
Okay, all right, cool.
Any time of substance, you got.
Yeah. Well, we actually had some substantive conversation, so that was good. And then we got to it was funny. We were walking through the pits, and Emmett goes, "Dad, Bubba." And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Bubba stands here." And I thought, Bubba's not here, man. He's in Italy. Like, Bubba's not here. I looked over and I was like, "Oh, that's right. Hank Stubbs has Bubba's car." So now it's Hank's car. It's not Bubba's car. But boy, he was laying it down. It was some really good passes. And Tim Seegers and everybody else that we got to see there. It was
so hanging
really
out
good.
With Joker.
Oh yeah, definitely
with that dude.
Oh man, he's super cool, dude. He was showing me his slot track that he's got in his shop. It's a huge slot track. I was like, oh my gosh, it's pretty bitchin'. What else? So yeah, busy weekend, doing some traveling, watching some drag racing, and appreciate the hospitality from Jeffrey Walker. He was super cool. Drove Emmett and I around and just kind of watched their operation, see how things were going. I did not go up in the tower. Usually I do, but I guess there's really no need to go in the tower this time.
Tower's a tower.
Tower's a tower. What you been in them? What you been in one? You've been in them all. I don't know. It looks like Dan Van Horn's gonna have a pretty nice tower.
Yeah,
boy, he's putting some nice shit together.
Getting back into that one.
Holy cow, that thing looks nice. I don't know what he's paid for all that woodworking, but that looks legit.
Yeah, be high class.
High class. Oh, what else happened? Want to maybe talk about safety a little bit. So while we were down there, we did have the unfortunate opportunity to see Lyle Barnett's car catch fire. Freaked Emmett out a little bit. Emmett was concerned. You could tell, right? Because when you're a kid, it's sort of like an unnatural thing to see, and once you could really start seeing the smoke going up and all the flames, like Emmett was
it's all fun and games till someone gets hurt.
Yeah, that's right. And so, we kept our distance. We didn't want to be the people running down there to check on him. But Lyle came walking down the track maybe 20 minutes later and just kind of let everybody know that he was good to go, which was pretty awesome. But holy cow, when you watch that footage, you could just see how it happens, how fast it happens.
What a good segue.
Oh, a good segue. Okay. Well, speaking of which, we actually have our tech director, who is responsible for doing all the tech directing or all the tech inspections, I should say, for our door slammers, our Run What You Brung door slammers and dragsters. Let's bring on Mr. Eddie Maloney, our veteran ninja. Eddie, what's good, brother man?
What's going on? Long time, guys.
Oh, man, long time, man. It's good to see your pretty face, dude. How are you?
There's two of us. Here, hang on. Here. You ready? Yeah? You have to go on the camera. Hello, come around. Come off the chair.
Okay.
Promise her if she was good, she'd come on. Dude,
Yeah.
you know what it's like.
Hi, princess.
Hey.
Oh my gosh, she is so pretty. She clearly did not get those looks from her dad.
Oh, she's just like me, and I think Tina's in another room, like rethinking 20 years ago now.
Hindsight's 2020.
That's funny. Hi, princess. How are you?
So I'm on the ear pod, so she can't.
Oh, ear pods. Okay, fair enough. That's all good.
Hold on.
So school has started, I presume.
Yeah.
Yep, can hear you just fine.
So what grade are you in now?
Fifth.
Fifth?
Yep.
Okay.
5th grade. Oh dang, there it is. School started. How long have you been in school? A week? Is this your first week back, or you've been back a couple weeks?
3?
3 weeks. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
2
That's
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. We're in the Midwest up here, Eddie. We only go to school for like 3 months out of the year.
That, right? Wow. This is Florida, so yeah. Her teachers are great this year, so it's good.
That's good. Yeah. So I was actually just talking about Lyle Barnett's burn down that I just happened to witness with Emmett. That was kind of a scary scenario. And then when you watch the video, I never really understood how the system works. I guess it's CO2. So what's happening when they pull that system? Is it filling the cabin full of CO2 to keep the flames from getting in the cabin? Is that how that works?
Well, one nozzle, the other one's typically put to the engine bay. So, you could tell by his video. Obviously, he learned from his experience and is a big advocate now of safety. So it looked like it did. He did everything right, and the system worked. As designed. It's not gonna put it out. It's gonna give you a few extra seconds, right, depending on how much on you had in there. And then by that time, you should be getting your belts off, windowing it down, and getting out of the car. That's why it's knowing where your cables and pins are at blindfolded is so important. It's something a lot of us haven't done in tech for a long time, but I started bringing back myself because I didn't really. There's a lot of people who didn't really know their surroundings, didn't know the cars they were getting in, and just depends on how they build the car and. Where their levers are and their cables. The whole idea is, can you find your parachute lever? Can you find your CO2 cables? When your car's full of smoke like his was, you can see. So you need to, in your mind, you need to have that muscle memory of where your stuff is. And a lot of times they'll put it like right here by the halo, and the pins are very small, right? So you're wearing these big gloves. And these cables, the cable heads are like this big, and you can barely get to them where they're at. So you'll see a lot of guys who will have them all on a big lever. That way, if you're doing this and flailing, you'll knock it over. So a lot of guys like that instead of the real small red fire cables.
Yeah.
The cable heads in here. So, it's sad to see that it happened to him, but, glad he, made it out. And,
well, you could tell, to your point, Eddie, you could tell that it looks like he had all the muscle memory in the world, like, that he had rehearsed all of that. I mean, when it was full of smoke, he was doing his thing. You could tell that he was doing the pins on his net and reached back and undid his Hans device and boom, 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 boom. And before you knew it, I mean, he already knew right before he stopped. He's like, I'm on fire. We're on fire, whatever he said. Yeah. And then by the time he stopped, you could just see him kind of going through the motions, pulling wherever the lever was for the CO2, I guess is what they pump. I don't know what they pump in there, to be honest with you. And they're just going through the motions. And, it's like in the military. You're a military guy. I'm a military guy. They always stress that muscle memory, especially if you're in any kind of vehicle or a plane. You got to be able to do that stuff without looking, right? Because you got to be 100% efficient. Safety's paramount. And so you could tell he saved his ass because he was out of there just like that. Yeah. And it was up.
It was good to see him. Yeah, it was pretty fluid, his process, and you could tell, like, I think regardless of his past, incident there, he's definitely trained himself, went through the motions, and honestly, everybody needs to do that no matter what you're driving.
Sure.
These things are getting faster, and we're seeing a lot more things now. I mean, the chassis are good, but you're seeing a lot more things that could really hurt you, such as like roll bar padding.
Roll bar padding, really?
We had a guy in Orlando, real fast car. I don't know how he could catch it, but at the end of the day, you're in the seat, and like Eric Medley, when he died in the funny car, I don't know, guys, 20 years ago almost now. He shot like this, right? So that's why the padding of the fuel cars are like, they're this thick on each side, and anytime your head can come in contact with the roll cage, you have to have padding. Well, there comes to a point where you can't let a guy race if he doesn't have it, because you're in the cage, but your helmet's knocking the metal. Guess what? That's your brain moving around in there, right?
Yeah.
So, it comes to a certain point where you're like, hey,
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you shouldn't have to tell people this, but you do.
Well, you shouldn't, but some people like to Aerosmith it up a little bit, live it on the edge some, which is silly, but hey, I guess teach their own. But that's where it's your responsibility, our responsibility to make sure that people are doing it the right way and the safe way, because we're not going to have something horrible, something tragic happen that could have been prevented because we were negligent with, us making sure that they were safe. So that's the whole point of being there.
Right. Yeah. And that feels, if they've never seen, a fatal crash or a serious injury, especially in kids, just something you can't unsee. It's like going to combat, right?
Oh yeah. 100%.
You can't unsee.
Yeah.
Down the road, especially when you see something happen and it could have been prevented. This is just, we'll never understand, but it's hard. It's hard when you see it, and it's hard when people, I don't know, I still see it all the time, but we all done stupid things. We all street raced and did it in shorts and flip flops and all that. Some people get 9 chances, some people don't get any. So, it's your choice.
It is your choice, but you won't be allowed to make those kind of weird, dumb choices on our watch, and that's just the bottom line. That is just the bottom line. So what else, Eddie? How else you been, man? How's life? I mean, got your daughters back at school. How's work? How's everything?
Back on night shift. I don't think I've been on night shift since I was at E3 or E4 in the military.
They got Eddie on fire watch.
Yeah, I learned a lot, in engineering over there at Disney's. Big safety, right? Disney is very nice. Half my coworkers are veterans. I work with a guy who spent 9 years on a submarine. Another guy spent, 10 years in 130s, so they like to hire a lot of veterans because the safety aspect is there in our minds.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
It's number one there. And it's good. It's just been hot as heck. It rains every day for a little while now. But it's been fun. Yeah. The transition's been good. And, I'm off Sunday and Monday, but I learned I can do some switcheroos every once in a while. And if I give them enough notice, and here we are. So we're coming to Alabama.
Amen. We're looking forward to having you there, man.
Yeah, no, and Breeze has a direct flight. I'm like, okay, perfect. Bonus.
Well, I never even heard of Breeze. And when I saw a direct flight for $200, I was like, what in the hell? How come St. Louis doesn't have flights like that anywhere? $200. I'd be going somewhere all the time. All the time.
Spirit Airline.
Oh, Spirit. Oh, that's right. There is a Spirit over in Illinois.
Well, because you gotta you have to pay for each individual thing, right? So you got to pick your seat. You got to pay to so it's a nickel and dime, but the product is very good. We flew Breeze from Florida to California 2 years ago. I'd say the only negative to them so far is right now is they don't have a ton of aircraft. So if you get kind of stuck,
you're stuck.
Kind of limited on that aspect.
Yeah. So, but they're growing. They're building a hub here in Orlando. So I figured I'd be like going to Delta, right? I'm like, all right, I'm going to get there. We're going to go through Atlanta to get there or something like that. And so Breeze had, okay. So it's being a little later than I wanted to be on that Friday, but, we'll just figure that part out, and then go from there.
Let's talk about your shirt real quick and veterans. My mental health is good. I've been good. It's been a good summer. I've had some chances to spend some time with the kids, so I'm good. How's your mental health? How you doing, brother?
Yeah, it's been good up and down. Still go to the VA, all the time.
Yeah.
A lot of times you have to take a step back and make adjustments, and it's just working on a lot of things mentally.
How's your VA office down there? How's the medical facilities?
It's huge. It's huge.
Is it?
It's the biggest one I've ever seen. It is insane.
Mm-hmm.
There's a place here called Medical City. It's right next to where I live, in a town called Lake Nona, and it's like where University of Florida is. University of Central Florida. It's got all their medical. It's huge. Like anything, it's still the VA, so you got a challenge there. to make appointments and things. But
Yeah.
I've not had too many issues, getting things, squared away. So
Yeah.
but yeah, there's
Well,
a lot
good.
more availability here than where we were. A lot more opportunity. So mental health is something that is continued, right?
Yeah. It
And
doesn't go
plus-
away. You just keep working at it.
But from what I've been seeing and reading, the suicide rate has gone through the roof on every branch,
Oh, no.
and even Air Force, which you usually saw it more Marines, Army, almost never Coast Guard, right? And then it just seems like it's gotten a lot worse. Society has, just been tough.
Yeah.
So we gotta
Hate to hear that.
we gotta help figure that out. Do what we can do.
That's right, man.
Each other, and, I might have kind of an oxymoron.
What did it say? I can't. I'm blind. Oh, something old vet. Oh, grumpy old vet. Man, you know what, dude? You might look grumpy, but you're not grumpy, man. You're fun, dude. You're a cool kid.
They had these hats at Buc-ee's. And
Oh yeah, old Buc-ee's.
Yeah, this is
That's
my
awesome.
side uniform. Authorized
Nice.
side uniforms. Yeah,
Well, all right.
certifications I've done probably 100 almost since May.
Really?
Just builds left and right, people getting on board with getting their stuff looked at. I ordered a batch when I first got them, 100 stickers, and I'm down to 5, and they're already spoken for in the next 2 or 3 days.
Oh my
So
gosh. Well,
I
that's
got
awesome.
25 more stickers coming tomorrow, and yeah, so that's a good thing. A lot of people are getting on board that didn't have stuff certified. I did get a call from somebody in Alabama, but he ended up getting somebody else to do it. He sold a car. It's going out west.
Oh, gotcha. Was it Hank Stubbs? Was it Hank's
Stubbs,
car?
yeah.
Yeah, because he
Yeah.
just had that. I forgot his name. They were staying at the same hotel as us, but yeah, they drove in from Washington State to Alabama to pick that car up. Hey Eddie, I just got a notification here. So we got our next guest waiting in the green room. So we're gonna go ahead and get Steve King on the line. He's our next guest. Do you know Steve King?
I'll be in the background.
All right, sweet. Adam, why don't we go ahead and join in? Why don't we go ahead and get Steve in here if he's waiting? He's at the track, right?
I do believe so. Let me see here. It's not letting me connect him. Well, Steve, if you can hear me, it's saying on my side, device not connected.
What is with this thing? Why is that there all the time? Man,
It's just how it runs.
pain in the ass.
It's just on a timer.
Is it on a timer?
Yeah, I'm assuming it's on some sort of from startup timer.
Oh, they're at the Yellow Bullet Nationals. There's a lot of people
Nice.
headed out there for that
Hold on.
race.
Looks like we're getting connection. We're gaining connection. Let me get out of the way here.
Getting connection. Steve.
There we are.
Hey,
There he is.
how's it going, Steve?
Mr. King, how are you, sir?
What's happening, guys?
Oh, just
We're good,
living the dream.
We're good. We're good, man.
Yeah, wish I was at the track. Holy cow.
We
I
all
love
out here.
Yeah, how's it going so far?
We did all right. We tested today and did pretty well. Of course, Jimmy went out there and busted a big one off tonight, but that's his normal stuff he does. So
It's always one.
That's just what he's up to. So, hey, man, it's my pleasure to meet you, Steve. I'd not ever had the pleasure of meeting you in person, and Nick's talked about you, and I've heard a lot about you, man. So, heard you're one of the big dogs over there in the PDRA, along with a handful of other folks. So, it's our pleasure to have you on, man. So, do you have experience in the ADRL, or have you ever raced in the ADRL back in the day? Do we got you there breaking up just a little bit?
Might be losing a little bit of signal, it looks
A
like.
little bit of signal at the track. Well, we know how those tracks are, man. It's not always the best signal in the world.
Yeah, lots of other people out
Hold
there
on.
using
there we
signal.
are. Yeah, we
Here.
right. How about now?
Yep, you're coming
We
in.
can hear you. Yes, sir. It's like the old AT&T commercial.
Yep,
We ran ADRL back in the day.
Nice.
Awesome.
So big flag. So yeah, we're familiar with the whole pro mod thing since like 2000, 2001. We did a lot of street car racing, and then of course that transitioned into pro modified.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's right. All right, awesome. Yeah, your Corvette is one bad machine, man. I love that thing. Is sweet. I had it up here on the screen, but then this damn computer thing, I'm sure you're used to these, pops up. I mean, what a pain in the ass. But tell us a little bit about your hot rod and your bullet you got in there.
Well, it's a G-Force 2018 Corvette with a Mike Stewicki horsepower Hemi with a screw blower. Yeah, it can be an animal, but these cars are so finicky, we struggled a little bit the last 2 or 3 races here, and just one little thing puts you behind with the baddest guys in the country, and you're trying to keep up with these guys. So you have to be on top of everything on these cars.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So with your guys' rule package and I don't know if you guys have it separated between blowers and nitrous or how you guys have it split up, but just for the blower class itself, you guys are consistently running. You guys are running good ETs, man. Like 60s, is that right? Are you guys pretty consistent in the 60s per se, or am I off? High 50s?
No, I mean, with the conditions, obviously, is a big factor, but you have to run 60s. You have to.
You have to.
And if the conditions are right, you have to be 58, 59. If the conditions are right, and everyone's fast. I mean, I don't care what series you're in. The technology has rolled over so much between all these cars, and everyone has got their shit together.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you see where the bump spot is, everybody's pretty much at the exact same spot. I mean, it's clearly they've done a really good job of leveling the playing field there so that you just have so many people running so close to each other. I was talking to Bob Glenn, and he was saying the same thing, and I'm not sure who he's been running with over the summer, but he says the rule packages keep them right there, and the competition is just so tight that if you got one thing off, like you were saying, you're just kind of shit out of luck. So it makes total
and that's
sense.
Kind of how that's how it is. It really is. I don't care if you run ADRL, PDRA, NHRA, you get one guy that seems to be the cream of the crop, so you kind of compare yourself to those guys, right? So we're like number 9 or 10. We've had a couple bad races, so I've dropped in the points a little bit in the PDRA, but we still have a very good hot rod. I think we got to get our shit together.
Yeah, well, it certainly looks good, man. And I would say that as much as I've heard about you, just from other racers and whatnot, you guys have clearly made a name of yourselves. How many races do you guys run typically through the year with PDRA?
PDRA I think is an 8 race deal, and then throw like Yellow Bullet. So we throw Yellow Bullet in there, and we're going to Missouri for the big 150 race coming up with Keith Haney out west, where they throw all the cars together, nitrous blower, everybody's together. So, and then of course over the winter we do the World Series, and that whole deal is down south, in Florida.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of racing, and this deal became a full-time deal. If you want to run up front, it's a full-time deal.
Absolutely. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's not easy. You can't just go hop in and out. You've got to stay committed, especially if you want to be competitive. It's just my outside perspective. I'm not a racer. I don't have a team, but just from the outside looking in, especially when there's 8 races and you guys are that competitive and there's points, like you have to be committed. But I mean, with what you guys are paying out and some of these big races, it's it definitely seems like it could be worth it if you're competitive and you know what you're doing.
It is, but probably the top. I mean, this is my take on Pro Modified. The top 10 cars, to be honest with you, probably do not even care about the payout. And I hate to even say that, but these guys.
I've heard that, actually. I've heard that.
these guys are spending so much money that it's turning it's totally different how I did things when obviously Jeff Miller's my guy that raced with me since I got doing this deal, and we did everything ourselves. But this deal is turning into, you've got to have people helping. You have to, you got to bring in guys like Gene Pilot joined in, he bought our whole operation, who owns this car. And, he joined forces with G-Force and Mike Wiki and John Salemi and that whole group up there, and they're prepping this car. And who would have ever thought when I started racing, I'd be driving a race car for a guy that owns it and paying someone else to prep it. And, I'm just living a dream right now. And that's what this sport's turned into,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like you start off just grinding away in your garage and you got your trailer and you're hauling around, and then 15, 20 years later, you're running or racing for a team and you got all the guys you need and you're out there making it a full-time gig. I mean, that does sound like the dream, man. That's from my previous life as a musician. That sounds like a record label paying me and going on tour for 8 months out of the year and playing in front of crowds and just like, look, I don't even have to tune my own guitar. I don't have to set my rig up. Like, life's good. So I totally understand where you're coming from with that. So real quick, you had mentioned they run, I don't know if it was just a yellow bolt. Oh no, I guess Keith Haney's deal that's going to be out at Flying H. They put all of the door slammers together, I guess nitrous and blower cars or whatever. I'm imagining that there are some nitrous guys that don't have a problem competing against blower guys. I mean, do you think, other than like Doug Reister, right? Because we know that he's a bad SOB, right?
Right.
Are there other competitive? I mean, I guess there's other nitrous guys that don't have a problem competing against blower guys.
No, they even here at Yellow Bullet, they put a little weight on some of the other combos like us and some of the other turbos, and just like here, Jimmy goes out. He's a nitrous guy. He owns a racetrack. He's probably one of the baddest guys on nitrous in the country, as well as Doug. And he goes out there and goes 62, 3 numbers faster than everybody else here. So. Yeah, I think
gotcha.
Tommy Franklin. So,
yeah,
the rules package for the World Series, Keith's race is very similar to that. Yellow Bullet's very similar to that. John Sears does the rules package for all those guys. I don't want to be the rules guy, obviously. I know what I would do.
Sounds like a nightmare.
They have a lot of technical information. Yes, they're never right. The conditions are right. One combo is a little faster than the other. And when other conditions, then obviously one combo is a little faster. And
right.
It also has to do with the caliber of the racer you're dealing with. Sure.
Makes total sense.
So that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And now that makes total sense. I couldn't be more grateful as a new owner. And I guess you want to call it promoter. I don't really see myself as a promoter, just as an owner making it happen. But when I started understanding the rule packages and going through things, I just thought, wow, I could have made it easier on myself having some classes that have no rules package. I'll just make it really easy for myself. There are no rules. Just come and race each other.
Right.
So,
yep.
But go ahead.
That's a great concept, and nothing wrong with that. It just, on the East Coast, we kind of run some other stuff, and not that we would never come there, right? Obviously everybody wants to go as the door slammers. Everyone wants to be the fastest car in the world. That's what you want to be. I mean, ultimately everybody wants to be in.
Right. Well, but when you look at it and you have series, and now, which I think is very smart for everybody to kind of align their rules packages, like with Keith and the PDRA and everyone kind of aligning their rules packages. When you got guys like yourself and people that are so dedicated, it gives you other opportunities to go out and race as well, right? So you can really kind of make it a full-time gig. So I think that's totally awesome that they're doing that, and that just keeps the industry healthy, keeps guys engaged. And I think in my mind, if you guys are going that fast with your rules packages, and not that it's anything super in depth. I mean, you might have some weight. I don't know. Maybe you got to add 150 pounds or who knows exactly. Right. But, I think to myself, like, shit, if these guys are going high 50s maybe mid 50s with these rule packages. I only think in my mind, like, man, if they stripped it down to some ADRL, run what you brung trim, I mean, I could only see guys just like 40s, just 40s all night long on a good prep track,
Oh, definitely. They're going to run 40s. With no rules package on, they should be running. I mean, we all see what Jason Scruggs. We're jumping in the car here. Hold on 1 second.
Oh, yeah, sure. No problem.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to run 40s. And Scruggs went 40 couple down south over the winter there at 220 some or
220. Yeah. Him and
man.
Yeah, him and Tutterow both, I think, right? Didn't they both run 340 something?
He's probably one of the best.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, he's a bad son of a gun, man. And I talked to him earlier this year. He called me, Scruggs did, and he's like, "Hey, man, I really wanted to run with you
down south." I mean, those guys are unbelievable racers, full-time guys.
Yes, they are. We're gonna wait for the for your reception to pick up a little bit here. It's kind of speeding up to get caught up, but yeah. So those guys are amazing. Actually,
he's
Scruggs,
a bad man.
I talked to him earlier in the summer. He had reached out, or earlier in the year, he'd reached out and said, "Hey, I want to run with you guys this year, but we're going to run NHRA." And I was like, "Oh, hey, man, I get it, brother. Go do your thing." But those boys are fast. Yeah. Yeah, I'd imagine, I imagine like any of those door slammers, like you guys are running the PDRA or Keith Haney stuff, you guys take all that trim off and do some I say outlaw, but now everybody's used that word out. So I don't even like to use that anymore. I'm just going to call it RWB, run what you brung. I'm excited because
so many places to race.
Oh yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, there really is. There really is. So, it's cool whenever I get calls for guys that are building new trim. And right now, I think the playing field's pretty even with the ADRL because we don't have, like the Sheik of Qatar coming in with God's money and building, a $500,000 race car and scaring everybody off. I mean, we do have Doug Reister, but he's a good old fashioned working out of his garage kind of guy. And you got Bubba and Frankie and, I mean, even Ricky Smith was running with us last year for a little bit, but no one's really getting in the 40s yet. I'm kind of waiting for that to happen. That could be a curse too, because once maybe like John Sullivan or Bubba or Hank Stubbs get in the 40s, they might be running some people off, which would be disappointing. Can you hear me all right, brother?
Yeah, no. And those guys are going for a long. You hear me?
Yeah, it's breaking up just a little bit. I know you're cruising through the pits, so you're probably losing a little bit of service there.
Yeah. We are, but that deal, those guys are just badass guys. Every one of them you just mentioned, every one of them are badasses.
Yeah, yeah, they are. They're really good at what they do, man. I couldn't be more excited to come on this side of the fence in the industry and be surrounded by guys like that. Cause I think by nature, a mechanically inclined engineering kind of brain. So it's great. It's great to be able to go talk to those guys, especially somebody like Ricky Smith, where, he's so in his groove when he's working and doing something, but he had never had a problem stopping and just like talking to me for a minute, but holy cow, when he's in the groove, you just kind of got to stay out of Ricky's way. That guy he's a beast. But anyways,
he's all business.
He is all business, man. I felt bad for a guy. So at Rockingham last year, he had a guy, and I forgot who it was, driving his car. He had been out of a car for a while. And, man, Ricky was just tearing his ass apart. He was having a hard time driving the car. Not having a hard time, but I think Ricky was making him nervous because he was just yelling at him at the starting line. And, oh, my gosh. You remember that, Adam? I felt bad for that dude. That was brutal.
Yeah, I remember that. Every time he'd pull up to the line, it was like, "Oh, come on, please, dear God, just get it together so we can all walk away from here smiling."
Yeah, don't give Ricky a chance to
yeah,
yell.
just
Oh, I
you
felt
open
bad for
that
that
window
guy.
and it's just a problem. But yeah, it was if from what I remember, it was kind of an onion
There
of
they are.
layers of problems with the car and all sorts of different things. So yeah, he it was entertaining, that's for sure.
Yeah, boy, and just like Steve said, when Ricky means business, he means business, man. He was so far up that guy's ass. I'd have been a mess too, trying to drive that thing with Ricky
Oh my God.
slamming the door and yelling at you, and he's like, "What's up?" I'm like, "Oh my
Yeah.
God, that he's here to do one thing, and that's kick some ass. Stay out of his way."
That's
Well, there you go. That's
Ricky
him.
Smith.
It is.
That's all Ricky Smith.
So, Steve, great video, by the way. This actually looks really good. It's nice and clear and great reception.
Good.
So how long have you, so give me, if you don't mind, tell me about this is my first time meeting you. So I'd love to know more about, your history and how you got into drag racing and so on and so forth.
We started in the NMCA days, like in 2000, 2001, running that deal. And obviously it transitioned into pro modified eventually by 07 or so. And hey, we just kept, like everybody else, you try to build a lighter car, bigger motor, and just one thing after another. It's never ending. The concept is never ending. You go out there and go 358 with the rules package or 345, and you're like, oh, there was a little left on the table. So then they go back out and try to get a little bit more for the next run.
It's funny talking with, so I've had a similar conversation with Amanda Hoover, Chris Duncan and Amanda Hoover. Do you know them, Chevelle from Hell?
Yes.
Amanda, she's got that same kind of brain where she's got that engineering brain. She's like, there's just so many things to tweak. And even if you have a good pass, you realize that you could have made some adjustments, and then you make adjustments and you mess something up. And she says it's just this ever revolving mission of chasing it down, and there's just so many things. I thought, yeah, I get it. It's crazy.
It is. And it doesn't take 5 or 10 pound puck could change what you could do. It's things the changes can be as small as that.
Yeah, right.
With these cars. And
yeah.
You have 100 knobs to turn on these cars. I mean, you could turn knobs from front to rear on these cars, and if you turn the wrong one too much, you're up shit creek.
Yeah. Well, you're exactly right. Well, and I'm an old street racer at heart, from being a teenager. I mean, that's what everybody did, right? They call each other out and go street racing. And my first car was a 66 Mustang, and, it was cool. And, then my life took me down a different path. I never had a chance to race, but I've lost like 30 years of the evolution of technology. And so when I went to their shop and they had their Chevelle from Hell on the lift, I'm like, oh, what's that on your rear end? They're like, oh, those are sensors, and we have sensors here and sensors there, and we have sensors. And I thought, holy shit, like literally you can track and adjust data on almost every moving component of the car, which then makes things.
The paint is the only thing you can't change in between rounds.
That's correct. The electronics have became. I feel like sometimes you got to be an aerospace guy to even turn half this shit on.
Yeah, all the wiring and running all that, and oh yeah, what a nightmare.
So do most of the guys that you race with, do they have is anybody banging gears anymore, pulling levers, or is it all automatic? It's all automatic.
Yeah, I think everybody's auto shift now, and that way it's all up to the tuner. Driver lets off the button and tries to keep it in the middle. That's pretty much what everyone's doing.
Yeah, eliminates some error or possibility of error.
Right.
Yeah. I thought that was crazy. So John Sullivan with the Patriot, his altered dragster. I don't know if you know John Sullivan or not in the Patriot.
I do.
Yep. Mr. Sullivan. We went to his shop and hung out with him and Dan Lucas and shot a podcast. And then I realized that he's manually shifting gears in a 4,500 horsepower altered. And I just thought to myself, man, that's badass. That's pretty cool. Like just banging gears with that much horsepower.
It's unbelievable. They can do it. Those guys have got some big kahunas that do that stuff they do. And they're you can't say anything other than they're badasses.
Yeah. Well, that was my impression. He's like, hey, Ryan, he goes, hey man, have you ever sat in one of these hot rods? I said, no. He He goes, well, here, come on in, come over here. So I went over there and he goes, climb in. So I climbed in and I'm like, all right, man, this is actually really bitching. He's like, all right, do you want a mask? I said, no, I just want to I wanted the whole thing. I want all sensory overload. I want to burn my eyeballs out and the whole thing. And he goes, all right, let's fire it up. And so we fired it up and I gave it a couple throttle whaps, and then we shut it off and I climbed out of it and I thought, oh my God, there's no I have 1,000 horsepower Pro Street weekend warrior in my garage. And after hanging out with you guys, man, that thing is, it's nothing. I mean, and I told him, I said, holy cow, I can't believe how much horsepower that has. And he goes, dude, you didn't even quarter. You did. I mean, that's like burnout horsepower. You didn't even give it anything. And that's when I realized, though, you guys are some bad SOBs, man. I mean, that's craziness.
That's a big animal sitting out in front of you. I'd like to be shifting gears. I like the air shifters or pulling levers, but technology keeps rolling and the crew chief wants it shifted at X point and he don't want to be missed by 100 RPMs with the way the technology is going. That's pretty much why they're doing these auto shifters and stuff.
That makes total sense. Talking about safety prior to you bringing on, we were down there and we saw Lyle's car catch fire, and I don't know if you've seen that video that he's got out, but he pulls the system and you just hear like the psh and the gas is going through the cabin. Can you explain to me what is happening and what's happening when you pull that lever or wherever he had the lever? What is that doing?
I'm sure he pulled the chutes first and then he hit the fire bottles, and that's pretty scary. I've had to do it once, and it kind of takes your breath. If you got fresh air, you're okay, but as soon as you unplug from that, it takes your breath. And obviously Lyle's one of the best drivers out there, and he was pretty calm and collected in that video and got the car stopped and got out of there. Just proves how badass he really is.
Right. So you have oxygen and you have the air or the fire suppression system.
Yep. He hit the fire suppression, and obviously it knocked it down, but then it came back. I think his fuel tank must have been whatever, fuel rail, whatever. And, you have fresh air on the whole time on your helmet. 90% of the cars do. And, when you come out the car, it comes unplugged. That when that fire bottle goes off, it takes all the oxygen out of the air. And I did it. I didn't have fresh air, and it's just like you can't breathe anymore. It just comes to a stop, right?
Oh my gosh, that's terrifying.
So it catches your attention, right? It catches your attention. But Lyle's badass. He's been through that once or twice, and he was very calm and collected in that deal.
Yeah, that was a pretty crazy video to watch. And I had my 7-year-old son with me, and he had a moment of like, oh my God. I was like, I know, buddy. Yeah, that's scary. He's like, is he gonna be okay?
It's scary.
Yeah.
That's one of the scariest things out there right there, the fire. And these cars are so, even, just like you guys, ADRL guys, 220 mile an hour in the eighth. I mean, a lot of bad things can happen at that speed, and even anything, they shorten the track to 8th mile, but they're still hauling ass.
Oh, yeah. A lot of bad things can happen real quick while you're going quick.
Yeah. In 3.5 seconds, I can't even imagine. Yep. And talking with Hank, he actually, I don't know if you know Hank Stubbs or not. It seems like everybody knows each other. So, he had that Corvette down there in Montgomery at our race earlier in the year, and he was almost at the 8th. And he showed me video. I talked to him over the weekend, and his front left spindle broke. And then when he let off, it blew the engine. So when the spindle broke, it put him in just a 90 straight into the wall. Then it burst into flames. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, like that's your stomach, your heart drops, your stomach drops. You're just like, holy shit, I hope I didn't just witness something horrible, And it all happens just like that. He said that he was driving, and all of a sudden it felt like somebody just jerked the wheel out of his hands. And then he was in a ball of flames, and he was up against the rail on the driver's side against the guard wall or against the wall, and had to jump out of the passenger side through the cabin and out the passenger side, which was crazy. But anyways, it happens. It can happen really quick, man, which is scary. So I give you guys props, man. Safety is paramount. Safety is paramount.
Number one.
Yeah.
Number one for sure. But,
all right, Steve. Well, hey.
Well.
Yeah, sorry. We've got that little bit of a delay. So
you got that one.
Yeah, we do. We're good. Yeah, we're gonna run it. That's all right. Go ahead. We got one question to go, and then I'm gonna run and grab some dinner. Mr. Pilot's hollering at me.
Well, I hear you. So I do a segment called In the Groove. As you may have heard, I'm a musician myself in my past life. So one quick question: what are you listening to in the pits, or what are you listening to get going before you're making a hit or you pull up to the line? You got a particular band or any particular grooves you listen to?
We do a little AC/DC.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Amen, man. Just some good old fashioned rock. Gotta love it.
Yep. Old school.
Yeah.
My whole crew's a little bit older. We got a little older, a little rounder in the middle. Sometimes this deal's gotten crazy, changing engines and pistons, and it's kind of like a fuel car here. The way they're running these things, we're so hard, and my guys are like, "Whoa!" Some evenings they're like, "Whoa, wee! Y'all done worked the crap out of me."
We're like, well, yeah, that's what we're here to do. Hard work pays off.
Steve, it does, Matt.
It was a pleasure meeting you, man. We appreciate you coming on and talk with us. It was a pleasure meeting you, and get yourself some dinner, and look forward to seeing you maybe one day, man. Strip off some weight and come see what you guys can do.
I hope I can get Mr. Pilot to come over with you guys somewhere at one of the closer races, and we can make some laps, right? I'd like to take all the weight out of this thing and see what it would do. That would be.
Why not? Pay all that money to get it as light as you can. Let's let it run.
Yep. We got a few lead bars in this thing, especially for this yellow bullet deal. So
I'm allergic to lead. We don't allow it at our track.
I'd like to do it and make that little pulley on top a little smaller, and just see what this thing would do.
Amen. Well, thanks, Steve. Appreciate you, brother. You guys have a good weekend. Good luck, and we'll talk to you later, man.
Hey, appreciate you guys having us on. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you. Enjoy that dinner.
Awesome.
We're all back.
That's great, man. I thoroughly enjoy talking to racers more and more and more and more and more. You just learn more, you understand them more, you get a better understanding of the climate of racing and where things are at, whether it's from technology or individual racers or race cars, and how things are evolving to racing series and rules and all of it. I love it.
Another nice guy.
Another nice guy. Go figure. I know, right? Another cool dude, like crazy.
Here's the exception to that rule. What's up, Hank?
I can't tell if Hank's bullshitting or not. I think because I got my button up on.
Shirt on.
Thanks, Hank. I appreciate that, brother. Appreciate it. We try to keep it real. I would have had probably one of my new t-shirts on if I wouldn't have forgot them in your rig. Yeah, so
perfect time.
It was perfect. So I had a lot of people asking about Emmett's hat, which we do have that same version on the website. So you can go to the website, pull it up again if you don't mind, PA.
Not a problem.
So anybody that's looking for some ADRL merch, I probably had 20 people ask me about some merchandise. Adam, as you know, I sent out some emails today, copied you in on that one. So hotbananashop.com, they are our official merchandise vendor. So the owner's super cool, as is everyone. I need one of them hats. Oh, one of these? Man, this is
so many cool hats. The hats are my favorite part of the line outside of the polo shirts. The polo shirts were my first vision. Been getting a lot of compliments on the red one. I'll tell you that.
That's cool. Yeah.
So we're going to have that line coming out on the website here soon. But the hats, I love the customizability for the patches, the color of the patches. You can get on there. You can make it your own. It's beautiful.
My next goal is, and I think Hank will appreciate this, I'm looking to do some fishing shirts. Just some UV protectant, long sleeve sun shirts or fishing shirts, like hook shirts or Salt Life or whatever the brand is.
I know the style. I'll add it to my list. It's just a matter of finding the product, and Nevin and I can knock it out.
Yeah, some fishing shirts would be great. And this kind of fishing shirt as well. Any of the Columbia or the hook. I'm going to actually have ADRL put on this hook shirt. I love this one, man.
Well, just between you and me, and like you've seen from my Adidas jacket, fortunately, with us knowing the person that helps us create the merchandise, we can get whatever we want.
Who is that in the background that keeps waving their hand up and down?
That's my boy, Manny.
Oh, what's up, Manny?
He's a quiet dude, but he's cool.
I know. He's just sitting back there waving. It's weird.
Yeah. He's got a cool hoodie. He's wearing my hoodie. It's got my name on it, but don't get confused. He'll mix and match it up.
We'll have to get in the we'll have to have sweatshirts and hoodies made for XRP, and
I still don't believe it. But I've seen the pictures, but I still can't believe it. You're always going to be skinny to me, Hank.
For sure. I mean, the dude looks lean. I would have.
You
would think that he. I mean, who would have known that Hank?
He looks like that
weighed,
asshole you knew in school that could just house pizzas and never gain a pound, never have to never get anything on top of it, but never gained a pound, and you just sat there and hated.
Oh, it's funny. I don't remember what Hank used to weigh, but apparently he's lost like two of himself. He's literally lost like two of himself. He's peed out two of himself.
It's all about
breaking news. Yes. And we're changing that just so everybody knows. It won't be Pro Extreme Tour. It is I can walk by food and gain weight. I can just look at it.
I just can't walk by food. Yeah, check it out. I'm a picky eater too. But
oh my gosh. And when you go into Hank's Pits, they're gonna have killer food, man. They had some pulled pork when Emmett and I went over there. I was like, oh, I can't stop eating these pulled pork sandwiches. Oh, it's so good, man. Yeah, they know how to take care of each other over there. By the way, though, we understand that originally the ADRL was outlaw, like we kind of coined and started outlaw drag racing, no rules, but outlaw, that word's been used up and tainted, and it's sort of not even relevant anymore. So it's been bastardized. So, and no offense to anybody that's using that in their stuff, their marketing material.
I get it.
We're going to officially go to Run What You Brung, Door Slammers and Dragsters. Bottom line, RWB, Run What You Brung, Door Slammers and Dragsters, ADRL style, the way it was intended to be. Run What You Brung. So, just so everybody knows, we're going to start coining that term. Run, and not that everybody hasn't been using it, but we're not going to do outlaw pro mods anymore. We're doing Run What You Brung, Door Slammers and Dragsters. That's what we're going to start coining again. No one else is using it. That's what we're going to use. So, just thought I'd drop that tidbit. Nothing exciting about that. I'm happy about it because we've finally come up with something different than outlaw promo or just ADRL trim. Everybody knows what that is.
Yeah, if you don't know, ask somebody.
If you don't know, you better ask. I am also going to, if anybody knows anybody in this class,
world of ours,
I am absolutely hell-bent on having semi drag racing. I want a class. I want to do an ADRL Run What You Brung semi class.
Diesel.
No, dude. I mean, like legit. These things are bad to the effing bone. I don't. Have you ever seen videos of them, dude? I had it playing on the TV last night, and I just stood there in front of it. I can't imagine how cool it is to see. Man, they're just pulling. They run Bobcat, right? There's one where they're racing Bobcat or Bobtail is what you call it, Bobtail, and then they have one where they pull weight. Now I realize that they do go up a hill. However, you don't need to send them up a hill because one, they got an engine brake, they got a Jake brake, and two, they can put parachutes on the back of their rig if they're going bobtail and need to slow down. But we're going to add it because those things are rolling coal, and it is one hell of a sight to see. So if anybody knows any get with Brant Arnold, he does that. Oh, thank God. Thanks, brother. Will you write that down, Brant Arnold? I went down a rabbit hole last night. And last night I made the decision. We're going to add semi-truck classes to the event. So I'll put a purse together. I'll find somebody to sponsor it. I know some tractor trailer companies, some dealers or whatnot, and we'll get somebody to sponsor it. But that is going to be super badass. I can't wait. I mean, I want to find one somewhere around here. Now, the races that I was watching were like up in Michigan, and another one was like in Ontario. I hope that there are guys down here in the South that do that. He was the fastest cars of the 256. Of the 256. So
good place to start.
Yep. So let's do that, Ad. I'm gonna do more work today. I meant to do that today. However, we had a lot of other stuff going on. But Maybe we can get them in Dirty South. I'd imagine that's South. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Also, I had a racer ask me to do an announcement for him. So I don't know how many of you guys know Mr. Paul Gibbs and his badass CUDA that he has, but he is officially part of the Proline team. He called me earlier today and wanted me to give a shout out. So awesome, Mr. Gibbs, Paul Gibbs, and the Proline team. So Paul is having a new car built right now. He's got 2 other cars. So I think he said that he sold one, but he's going to have now a pro-charged car and a screw blower car. So he said he'll be.
I'll watch your asses.
Yeah. He did literally say, good luck to everybody. And he especially called out, he goes, that young little kid, the farmer kid. John Sullivan.
Yeah. He's like the tall, skinny guy, plays in dirt. He's like, oh Jesus, we don't know. He drives some beat up red car. Like,
it looks like a Corvette, but I can't tell because it's kind of Frankenstein together. We're like, dude, are you talking about the landlord? And he goes, I don't know.
Maybe.
Please, Mickle, that would be great, brother. But we're like, oh yeah, John Sullivan. He goes, oh yeah, I don't know who he is. Anyways, I'm bringing 2 cars. I'm gonna whoop everybody's ass. I got Proline behind me, and we're just, they tell me what to do, and I'm gonna do it. So we're coming to kick some ass. I'm like,
those big checks now, save yourself some time. I was like, Jesus, that's real presumptuous, Mr. Gibbs.
Yeah. He goes, why don't you just go ahead and mail me my checks now?
Right.
And I was like, all right, Mr.
Save on postage.
All right. So he's all excited. So again, congratulations. If you know Paul Gibbs, send him a shout out. Congratulations. He's part of the Proline team. So we should be seeing some big things from him up here in Huntsville, and then get at XRP, because he's going to go to XRP. He loves that track.
Who doesn't?
No kidding. Who doesn't? Any other Sunshine Report news? Any other Sunshine Report news?
Man, we're 57 days out? Is that what I remember?
57, whatever I put on the post today. I don't quite remember. However, we do have that official link to merchandise. So hotbanana.com. Go there, or hotbananashop.com. Hotbananashop.com. And just search ADRL. When you get up there, it'll take you there. You got to kind of go through the website. He's still working on it a little bit, but he's so nice that it's like, hey, it's all good.
It's a good product too.
Great product. That's most important. The website may not be $1 million website. It is easy to navigate, but we can guarantee that you're going to love what you order. I promise you. I love our hoodies, man. They're so soft and awesome. These hats, super awesome hats. So these flat bills, man, these are really nice, man. And it's all Richardson. So if you like Richardson gear, that's what we carry. All Richardson hats.
Style, flat bill, and fitted.
That's right, baby. What else? Other than that, Huntsville. Looking forward to it. Been talking heavy with Brian from Verge, and for Huntsville, y'all got a pre-enter date established yet? We're
toss that around just this week.
Yeah, we were talking about it this week. We really like using the FOAT for pre-registration. However, it almost makes it more complicated when only half the guys are using the FOAT to pre-register, and the other guys are just showing up at the track paying. The idea was to use the FOAT, get it out there ahead of time so we could get an idea on car count, so we could figure out the ladders ahead of time and not wait to the last minute. But
be able to post your car out there and say, Dan Lucas is coming to Huntsville.
Right.
All that sort of fun stuff. So
right.
Yeah, we do love it still for that aspect of it. But at the same time, there isn't a monetary transaction that goes along with it. So it's just informational. So yeah, we've been tossing that around, but there's still a fair chance that we may have that coming out in the nearest future as an option.
Yep. But for now, if you do plan on coming, which Mr. Lucas, I know you're coming, let us know. Shoot me an email. Shoot Adam an email. Send some pictures. We'll make sure
pick your car, pick yourself, pick your crew,
pick your nose. But you can't pick your friends.
Right. Doesn't have to just be the car.
Yeah, it doesn't just have to be the car. That's right. Oh, hey, I forgot my name was on the back of this cup.
Oh, look at you.
Mm-hmm.
Just in case you forget.
And our family crest. It's pretty bitchin'. Love it. What else? Anything else?
And that's everything on my side.
Yeah. Well, it was good to have Eddie on, man. I missed Eddie, dude. We haven't seen him. He wasn't in Montgomery. He got a new job, and things weren't really working out for him. So, oh wait, there he is. Yay, he's still in here. Sweet. I figured Eddie was gone.
I figured since he's sitting there in the green room, bring him on while you're talking about him.
Yeah, man. Shit, yeah.
Say it to his face. Be a man.
Look at it. He's like, no, I was saying it's great to see Eddie. We haven't seen him in a while. Wasn't able to make it to Montgomery because of your new gig, high level of responsibility, making sure all the equipment is safe and functional so kids don't go flying off of roller coasters and weird shit. We don't need Space Mountain actually shooting off into space. That's cool. And you know what, man? I'm really kind of jealous because Adam and I have done podcasts, I bet you didn't know, about the inner under network of tunnels and all the other crazy shit. The underbelly of Disney.
Exposed.
The soft white underbelly of Disney. It's we've heard about the cat. Can Eddie cert my alcohol car chassis? I'd imagine so. I think Eddie can pretty much do anything, right, Eddie?
He's asking about a red sticker I don't have. I need to calculate the date. So Dan, I'll call Lonnie. March, April. Ooh, let me call Lonnie. Assuming Dan wants a red sticker. So I have to wait 6 months until I was approved, which was March. So more to follow.
All right, sweet. So we were talking about the soft white underbelly at Disney, and there's a lot of things that come up, like the weird colors that they use that you don't realize that they use to create
blue and green.
Yeah, the psychology.
The pumpkin food smells out.
So
in the street.
I mean, to your point there, that I can talk without them firing me, right? Because Disney's worse than the military, and I had a top secret. I dealt with nukes and shit, and then there's Disney, and it's so
all proprietary.
So once you look at it, Disney wants to take you from one land to another. You're stepping into one land.
Right.
Correct. So now if you go to, I love all theme parks, but now if you go to a SeaWorld or Universal, because that's kind of like the promotion battle here. Although I don't think anybody's ever going to beat Disney.
No.
Never.
No, you can't. No.
As cool as this new park that it's being built, if you remember, I had a simultaneous offer in engineering over there too, Universal at Epic Universe, but there's little things that people see cost, right? And that's all they see. But there's so many little things about Disney that you really have to learn to appreciate. It is those transitions, those colors. If you do see a big building, chances are it's light blue, right? Or green, depending what's right around it. If there's trees, if you do see it, Guardians of the Galaxy at Epcot, that building is blue, right? What's the sky above it? Blue. So you are immersed in one section and can't see the next, like especially if you're a Magic Kingdom, let's say. Yeah. And some of the other parts, Epcot's a little different, but those design elements are that way for that reason.
I'd imagine that they have I just picture like a group of engineers doing customer journey walks through Disney to just look for areas of opportunity to enhance what you're talking about even more. Oh no, we need to, let's actually paint that there, and we'll build that over here. And they got this whole group of people walking around to figure that stuff out. Do you feed the cats? By the way, do you feed the cats? I heard there's a cat population inside Disney World that helps control the rats.
G14 classified, right?
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I understand.
Gotcha. We can't. We cannot ask Eddie if he's feeding the cats. I've seen pictures of cats, so I know they're there. I know there are cats in there. That I will say. I know there's cats. We also talk about
tunnel
I can tell you what
system.
is there's freaking mosquitoes where I work, but not
No
in the
doubt.
park. Not in the park.
Oh, not in the
Disney's
park.
so hardcore. No, I mean it's so darn clean and pesticide. We have departments for everything. It is just unreal. The attention to detail is unreal.
Like,
Yeah, I
even with
love
all
it.
the water and everything that they have there, it just doesn't impact. Or do they have? Is there something they're using that's helping?
So, for example, some of the animation you work on, it's like the hydraulic fluid is, I'd say, not edible, but it's not like what we're used to in a hydraulic system.
Oh,
Gotcha. Red. So if you go to Animal Kingdom, right, you have something that malfunctions. Well, there's animals. You don't want to harm them. So some of the hydraulic stuff that's used is food grade.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I didn't know that. That's
Things
really
like that.
cool.
So, yeah. And like I was saying, like pretty much, I'd say half my department's veterans.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, no,
Disney's got the same troubles with hiring as everybody else does.
Sure. Yeah, and you got a lot of
they can
military,
afford
like
tons.
And when
Tons
you have
of
that
military.
level of, not necessarily maybe secrecy or however you want to use it, but discretion within your employees is a valuable asset.
Yeah, it's that, but it's more so, like who's going to show up, then who's going to show up on time, and who's not going to half-ass it.
Mhm.
Who's going to do the job right? Because these things are critical. When I used to sign off stuff, in aviation, the pilot's getting in it, or people are getting in it, or somebody could get hurt or killed. So it's the same concept. And let's face it, not just veterans, but a lot of us show a lot of initiative to get in there and help the team, help concept. Like I have a main attraction I'm at, but I'm the entire north side of Magic Kingdom. Some people don't do that, but you don't want the ship to sink because somebody's not qualified to do something. So
Sure.
if I've got to go to another ride or attraction or something, and help out over there, even if it's mechanical work, because I'm an electrician, not a mechanic per se, but then you gotta take one for the team and go over there. So you don't really have to tell a veteran that that concept, that mindset. They get it.
yeah, they understand the mission.
Yeah,
for sure.
But safety is number one, 100%. Like you could be the dumbest guy in the earth, but if you're safe, you do the things the right way, you're safe, you're good, and it's just a learning process. There's people with all different backgrounds. My coworkers from the railroad, like some other coworkers, 9 years at a submarine,
awesome.
Fabricators, and then crew chiefs, military crew chief. So, so a lot of different backgrounds.
I know this isn't drag racing. I know this isn't drag racing related, but I'm just totally intrigued. So once you get hired on at Disney, do you are you restricted to your area? Like, are there or do you have access to pretty much kind of go wherever you want as long as it's
mission specific? Yeah, within your parameters,
right? Like, I guess my question is, have you been in the castle? Have you gone in the castle
as a guest?
As a guest. I got you. Yeah.
I
heard there's a room up there.
Yeah,
I heard there's a room in there. Is there like a? Is there like a hotel room? Oh, there's a restaurant in there. I didn't know that.
There's a restaurant.
Huh.
No, I'm the north side. So if you look at a map, I'm north. Everything north of it.
Gotcha.
So, yes and no. To your question, but it's union. So the union, there is limitations on that.
Yeah.
Some I really don't like, but
that's a union.
It's yeah. So everything's seniority, and you got to wait. This just like we talked in the beginning. Wait 9 months for vacation, which is still true. But it's funny because my newest coworker had a wedding he had planned, and he actually kind of got the thing going, like, hey, can we switch these? And I actually tried to do it for a Michael Hill race a week ago in South Carolina. I realized how it works, and I was too late, or else they would have done it. So when I pitched, I'm like, wait a minute. If they're letting him do it, and I see other people are doing it, okay. So basically, what it is I'm going to work 10 days in a row, and then
be off that time.
Fly up to Huntsville.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So that Sunday and Monday,
I loved at UPS, their union, and I got inebriated one night and read the bylaws of the union stuff and learned a whole bunch of things and had fun the next day at work.
I think it's discretionary, and I can't really say anything bad about, my management because, they're both prior military. One is just retiring now from the Navy Reserve. So you get it, right? You get the mindset, you get the communication aspect of it. And I think it's just one of those things like, if you're a good dude, you're a good employee, you try to give as much lead time as possible and then come up with solutions. So like for that one, what did I do ahead of time? I made sure my other two guys, are you guys going to be gone? I didn't see anything in the account. Nope. Okay. Shifts covered, right? So because you got to open up the rides the next day or else, people can't go on them. So as long as it's covered, before they have to ask somebody to come in for a 6th day, which not many people deny time and a half. So
no shit, right?
Anyway, they'll work out.
When you open the rides, do you test ride them? Do you get to ride them? Is that opening the rides, or you just turn levers on, or do you get to ride them?
Plead the fifth.
Both. You always have to operate.
Yeah. You have to test them out.
Like you said, safety is paramount.
Yeah. Well, because some of the I've talked to employees at Six Flags, and they said when they get there, she's like, oh, I would ride in the back on this one because it's the fastest. Like, well, how do you know? She's like, well, because when we open them and we test, we have to ride them at the beginning of the day or whatever.
Yeah, coasters are a different animal too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Coasters are get a whole lot more involved. A lot of the stuff I work on is like projection and images and audio and rides, as well. But I don't just do that. I do the show aspects of them too. So basically you're tying audio, video into one,
kind of like the presidential
production
thing.
Yeah, it's a production, right? Experience. Basically each place is an experience. So you're tying everything together, so. Yeah, it's really intriguing. Night shift is 20 years later is a little tough, but shockingly, I can sleep. So,
are you going to work tonight?
Yeah, I'm leaving in about 30 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, right on. Man.
But it's not too bad, But yeah, it's quite intriguing, honestly, and you can see the many places you can kind of pivot. Especially they need leadership like everybody else. So, like I said, a lot of veterans, tons of them coming in. So,
well, you can count on them. You can count on veterans. Usually, as long as they weren't shipbirds, but it's hard to. I mean, if they were honorably discharged, you can't tell if they were shipbirds or not. But I know a lot of shipbirds who were honorably discharged.
You take any group of people, there's always going to be a percentage of shipbirds.
Yeah, you got guys that did 20, 30 years in the service. I don't know what they did in 20 years, but
get out of like an E5 after 20 years.
Somebody may have been 5 years too long in the service. You never know.
Well, even that, I mean, even if they were E9s, there's some of them are like, I don't know what they did, but
Oh, I was S1. That's all I did. I was S1. I sat at command and just did admin work all day long. That's it. Till I was an E9. That was fun. Pushing papers. Brianna, awesome driver. This guy can scoot. Shit, man, I can't read.
Scoot down the track.
Oh, is she talking about Steve King?
Yeah.
Yep. That was awesome.
Back to drag racing. I don't think this is going to work, but I would like to
drag racing. Don't tell us that.
Work.
Oh shit!
Oh my god!
He already knows my opinion. Yeah, he already knows. I asked him when he called me back in January. I think it was January. I was like, okay, do you like money or no? So,
yeah, I do not.
I'd like to see the timing. Is not good because that week up they're going to be going to the World Cup before Huntsville. But I'd like to see if I can get some of the fastest imports up to ADRL and battle these blower cars.
You know, man,
because there
I've thought about that.
2 or 3 of them that can go 550s in the quarter.
You know, we got XRP a few weeks after if timing doesn't work out on that one.
So what you know, I want to stay in the spirit of RWB, run what you brung. So I can see an RWB import door slammer class. I mean, you know, I don't know how to regulate that. I mean, it just is what it is. Like if it's,
you don't need to. I've already done it. I already have the rules.
So there are rules.
Yeah, it's easy. That's real easy.
Huh. Well,
I already have it.
Can we take the rules away?
Strip them down.
Why not?
What are the rules doing?
Take the weight off of them.
Yeah, I mean, can we take
those cars are 1,900 pounds. So
okay,
those cars they're 1,900 because they're run rotaries. Most of them, a lot of them, or 2JZs.
Yeah,
2JZs. Right. So those cars are pretty light.
Well, that's scary because I did see a Supra go airborne. It looked like it went about 100 feet up in the air. As a matter of fact, when it went, dude, it was so fast. Or maybe it was a GTR. It was going
that's
so
the
fast.
That's the one in Bahrain. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. It just went straight up and just was gone like a kite. It just was gone and then came down eventually back. And I was like, "Holy cow, that's fast!"
Yeah,
but,
that's the white one, right?
The white one, you got it exactly. So how do you regulate safety on an import car? Because and this is just me talking from my limited understanding of, you know, I'm getting obviously I understand our classes well. So, but you know, these aren't pro mod cars.
Yeah,
but they both have to have safety.
I mean, basically,
the chassis are the same.
Yeah, but like. Pro mods are different because the back half of the car is gone, and all it is like weird ladder bars coming from the back of the cage to a rear end. Like,
right?
Totally
wouldn't the import cars be similar, or at least a setup that would be comparable? So, I mean, it's
is it just a different body? Is that what it is?
So
that what makes
there's an import car right now. It's a Dodge Dart that was Lizzie Musey's old Pro Nitrous car. Just a different engine. You just change the plates and send it, and move the weight around. That's what tuners are for, right? So,
but is that an import? A Dart is a domestic car.
Well, we call that a sport compact back in the day, so it's the same thing. But so, for example, Mel Roth, we did this in Vegas in mid to late 2000s, 2007, 2008. We had Pro Street where it was. We had an NHRA Pro Stock, NHRA Pro Stock, Pro Mod, and then NHRA. What time they had the Sport Compact Series? Then they had a class. Yeah, what Nick said's right. They had a thing called Pro Rear Wheel Drive back in the day. All those cars competed in one event. We do that here at World Street Nationals with little goals. I have a class here called Super Pro Street. It's not quite as fast. It's 390s to 420s, but there is a Lexus that competes in it with a 2JZ.
A Lexus. I had seen the guy, not Simpson. Who's the guy with the blue GTR? Tall guy. I see him.
All I can think now is I want to talk to Samson.
Yeah,
you said Simpson.
Man, I can't remember.
You talk about the guy who runs Street Outlaws?
Is he in Street Outlaws? I think this was prior to. He might be in Street Outlaws now. I'd seen his content years ago. I don't know how long he's been in Street Outlaws, but I think probably it is the guy, tall guy. Yeah, he's got a blue GTR, really, really fast car.
He's got a blower in it. Yeah.
So what makes an import?
Body style or badging would
Is
be
that
my
it?
guess.
Just the body style. So an import class, a run what you brung import class is going to be basically
what makes Hank's car a Camaro.
Well, you know, I think import is like when I was thinking import, I was thinking like a Civic with a 2JZ in it with the
you're talking like a souped up
power.
street.
Yeah,
that's
just how my brain is.
Well,
that's
what
my
I'm
brain
saying.
goes
Like
to.
once you go to Pro Mod import, wouldn't it would be equivalent to the Civic is the same as Hank Stubbs' Camaro. What part of that car is a Camaro? Nothing outside of that
So
body
just
style
the
and the
body.
chassis. Exactly.
We can't hear you're. I hear you
Hold on, let
agreeing,
me see if
Eddie,
I
but
can-
we can't hear you.
Nope, he's muted on. You muted on your side. Should be down at the bottom left.
You know. Okay.
There we go.
You got it.
Oh, let me put this back in now.
Most are 4-cylinder, 2JZ.
Yeah. So
with turbos, a lot of them are turbo, like twin turbo, 2JZs. Yeah. I've never seen a pro charged 2JZ. That'd be weird.
No, they don't. That doesn't work. So
DCS, yeah, I try to put up every near every comment that comes through. So yeah, if you got a question or something to pop in, throw them on in there.
So what's the question? Did he have a question?
It hasn't come through yet, but I'm keeping
Okay.
an eye out.
All right, sweet. Rotary power is different. How many
rotors are they running?
I am now. No.
So yeah, that would be my take, at least on the import side.
Yeah, so that makes sense. So basically, it is a Pro Mod chassis with an import body. That's it, and probably a different motor. Maybe if they're a purist and want an import motor.
Yeah, being more turbo side than something, but yeah, that'd be my thought at least. I could be way off base.
So then why wouldn't we run them in like our RWB door slammers? Why would it be a different class just to kind of separate them to make two different classes? Why wouldn't we want to invite them in and run with our nitrous and blower cars?
I think that's
you're not going to separate them.
Yeah, Eddie was talking about them running together.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought we were talking about a separate class with a separate purse.
No.
Oh, yeah. No, that'd be bitching.
I mean, really, there's nothing that would exclude them or prevent them from being able to. Really, if you've got a car that would pass the tech inspection for the Pro Extreme class or whatever it would end up being if it was a combined field, and you're running fast enough to win, isn't that all it takes?
You just the way those cars won't make the power,
but they're light.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah, I mean, shit. When you're, let's think about it. If you are 600 pounds,
I moved.
The audio's still there.
There's not on.
You know, I'm. If you think about it though, with an import, if they're only 1,900 pounds, I mean, you're talking about a 700-pound difference from some of these pro mods, or even 400 pounds. And when you're talking 150 to 200 pounds with a little more overdrive from like a rules package for PDRA or the Midwest versus Outlaw, you know, just that 150 pounds and a little more overdrive is going to get you from low 60s to low 50s, maybe high 40s. So
sure,
I mean, that's a big difference. So imagine taking off. Now the horsepower is not the same.
Couldn't you, in theory, do that same type of setup on a domestic car?
You mean a chassis?
Yeah, I mean, how where would the pounds lighter be coming from? Is it out of the engine?
No, they're just smaller. I mean, you know, a 69 Camaro versus like a Supra or a small Lexus or well, no, I mean, I think all the body. Yeah, maybe they're smaller chassis. Maybe they're just smaller chassis.
Turbo. Yeah, I mean, well, at some point the wheelbase has to be.
And a 2JZ motor is going to be a lot smaller than a big ass Hemi with a screw blower on it. You know,
I could see if it comes from the weight or the motor, the engine, the motor combination, and the setup of it. I could see where they could, or with turbo, or then they could find that sweet spot of the lightweightness and the power enough to still be able to hit a.
Did you say lightweightness?
Lightweight.
Oh, they said wayness.
No.
Wishing everyone a safe Labor Day weekend. Time for me to get back to work. I usually work holidays, so when you see me spending 3 to 4 days at the track, just mind your own business.
Mind your own damn business.
Amen, Uncle Steve. We love you, man. Have a great weekend, brother.
Can't wait to see you at a track.
No, I know, right? Gosh, I hope you make it to Huntsville, Uncle Steve. Man, we're gonna hang out, and I don't drink anymore really much at all. I've probably had 6 or 7 beers this year, but I'm gonna drink at the races. I'm gonna let a little bit of my freak flag fly a little bit, get a little loose.
Apparently, there is a Hooters in. Oh, it's permanently closed. Damn it! We lost.
Oh no! Oh no!
Truck in some wings from out of town.
Trucky, yeah, and some Hooters girls. We'll go find the Hooters girls.
There we go. We'll bring the beer.
Oh my gosh,
that'd be awesome if you can make it. If I don't see you at Huntsville, I'd be very confused if I don't see you at XRP.
Yeah, man. I sure hope you can make it, Uncle Steve. If not, we'll do XRP. And again,
understand.
Adam, did you write down the name for the semi?
Yeah.
Uncle Steve, if you know anybody, considering that you're a truck driver, if you know anybody that drag races semis, I want to add it as a class. Maybe 2 XRP as a exhibition, but I do want to add it for next year's event. So if you know anybody that drag races the semis, man, let me know, because those are, man, they are just so badass, man. They're really cool.
What type of tires do they run?
I don't know, but dude, they pull up in the water box. They do burnouts. Sure. They get up there and they're pulling that lever.
Yeah, right. I'm positive that they are, but
I don't think they need any kind of slicks or anything. I mean, they might, but they got.
Can they run on
6, 8 tires?
Can they run on slick prep tracks? Would be that would.
Oh, sure. I would. Yeah. I mean, it's not like they're gonna stick to the track. These guys were doing it on just like asphalt. They're about 1,000 to 2,000 horsepower, and those are big trucks. So they just are built with a shit ton of torque, because they're probably inline 6s or some big, diesel engine meant for just 1,000 pounds of torque, if not more, I'd imagine. Holy cow! But it'd be really cool to have some semi truck drag racing. So if anybody knows anyone else, we're going to reach out to that gentleman. I think once you know one, then they usually know everybody else, so we could kind of do our networking there and get a hold of them and let them know, man. That'd be really cool.
Yeah,
I saw 1320 doing some stuff with the semi drag racing, and I don't know if it was their event or not. I had at XRP look for my obituary on the internet. But John Sullivan's probably forgotten what?
More about it than I know. So okay. So yeah, put the word out there. If anybody does know or has a connection, let us know. We'll see how we can try to wiggle that into the schedule.
Yes, indeed. It'd be really, really cool. All right, Prince Adam. Well, hey, another successful episode. We do want to, of course, before we go, thank our sponsors, Renegade Racing Fuel, Fuel Tech, and Chris Duncan Race Cars. And Adam, why don't you go ahead and plug Dayco belts for him?
Are you tired of getting into the late rounds of eliminations, only to have your perfect setup and perfect track conditions spoiled and ruined by a broken belt? No more, I say. If it happens to you at this point in time, it's your fault. And you know why? Because you haven't gotten in touch with Amanda Hoover or Chris Duncan to get yourself a Dayco belt. Have yourself a Dayco day.
Don't have a great day. Have a Dayco day. What's funny is I was walking through the living room earlier today, and I was like, don't have a good day. Don't have a great day. Have a Dayco day. Oh, it's so good. And I'm working on sponsors as well. Again, anybody knows anybody that may be interested in sponsoring the ADRL in some way, shape, or form next year for the 2025 series. We're going to be doing a points series, I guess, is if you want to call it.
That is technically and actually
Point
what
series.
It is called. So yeah,
yes. So if you know somebody that'd be interested in sponsoring, let us know. Shoot them our way. Also, hotbananashop.com for your official ADRL merch. We want to thank Steve King for coming on tonight. He's at the Yellow Bullet Nationals with his hot rod Corvette. So Wish him luck this weekend.
2.0.
And another recap, Mr. Paul Gibbs is part of the Pro Line team. So congratulations, Mr. Gibbs. Looking forward to having you in Huntsville and seeing what you can do up there. And other than that, everybody, thanks. Eddie Maloney, appreciate you jumping in. Eddie is our tech director, I guess is what you want to call him. He'll be there in Huntsville. So if you need any chassis certs, feel free to reach out to Eddie at ADRLtour.com. Eddie at ADRLtour.com. And he'll help you out. You got to have a good belt if you're going to be spanking some asses.
That's right.
Mandy and Chris are awesome people. That's right. Steve is, I'm going to tell you, he's a smart guy, man. He's a witty, you can tell he's a pretty intelligent individual. Like some of the things I had to steal his line earlier. It's going to be out of this world with the rocket. I was like, well, using that one. Didn't even think about it.
It was Tuesday night. You know what I'd tell you, Steve.
That's right. That's right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I'm Dr. Fears.
I'm Prince Adam.
And we'll see you guys next time, other than his profile.
There he is.
Oh, there he is. I don't know if you got in late or not, landlord, if you've been watching the whole episode, but
somebody was talking smack on you.
Somebody was talking a little bit of smack, and that was Mr. Paul Gibbs, and he has no problem because he is now part of the Pro Line team. So he's coming to get
trophy shelves.
He's coming to get some landlord, is what he said, along with Hank, because he knows Hank's laying down that old Bubba rig. I missed that.
I figured you did, or else we would have heard from you.
Oh, yeah. I was like, man, how's he not jumping in? Who's that?
Technically, it was really me talking. But,
oh, my Lord. It's so good. It is so good.
He says you'll find out in Huntsville.
Yeah. You'll find out. That skinny farmer kid with some kind of beat up old red car coming to get me some of that. Everybody's talking about this beat up red car. Some skinny farmer's been making some lucky passes in, coming to get me some. My Pro Line team. I'm just messing around, but he was talking shit, but in a good way. He's respectful. He's a God-fearing man, so he's not going to be, he knows his role.
I amped it up.
Yeah. That's what we do. Other than that, appreciate everybody joining in. Much love and peace and chicken grease.